Welcome back. Everybody put everything else down right now, because what is unfolding in the California desert today is the kind of moment that gets its own Wikipedia page. This is not hyperbole. This is real life happening in real time, and if you are here right now, consider yourself lucky because we are about to break this down from every angle: the history, the atmosphere, the tactics, the psychology, all of it. Here is the headline, and I want you to really let it land. Stadium 1 at the Indian Wells Tennis Garden, 16,000 seats, is completely sold out. Not a single ticket available anywhere at face value. Every chair filled. Every staircase packed. And here is the part that makes this genuinely unprecedented: this sellout is not for a final. Not a semi-final. Not a retirement ceremony. This crowd has assembled for a third-round match between Coco Gauff, world number 4, and a 20-year-old from the Philippines named Alexandra Eala, sitting at number 31. Third round. 16,000 seats. Sold out. That sentence should not be grammatically possible in tennis, and yet here we are. To grasp the magnitude of today, you need to understand the stage itself. Indian Wells is not just another stop on the tour calendar. People who call it the 5th Grand Slam are not being generous, they are being accurate. Nestled in the Coachella Valley with the San Jacinto Mountains rising dramatically in the background, the BNP Paribas Open occupies a genuinely special place in the hierarchy of professional tennis. And Stadium 1 is the second largest outdoor tennis arena on the entire planet, trailing only Arthur Ashe in New York. In early rounds, filling the lower bowl is considered a decent crowd. Upper tiers are typically half empty. Full sellouts are reserved for finals, for moments when a trophy is sitting courtside. That normal order has been completely dismantled today, and the entire region has quietly restructured itself around 2 women and 1 tennis match. Now let's talk about the people responsible for all of this, starting with Coco Gauff. She is, without serious debate, the defining figure of American tennis right now. 21 years old, Grand Slam champion, ranked 4th in the world, already accomplished things that players twice her age spent entire careers chasing. When Gauff walks onto a hard court in the United States, the crowd adopts her, invests in her, rises and falls with every rally in a way that feels deeply personal. She has earned that relationship genuinely, through years of emotionally honest performances that revealed who she actually is. And on the court, she is terrifying. Arguably the fastest player on the WTA Tour, not fast in a polite sense, but fast in the way that makes opponents question reality. You hit what looks like a clean winner and somehow Gauff is already there, already balanced, already loading up a counter. Her backhand is a wall. Her court coverage is legendary. She is the clear favorite walking into today. And yet there is a crack. There is always something, even with the best players, and with Gauff in 2026 it is the serve. She sits near the top of the entire WTA Tour in double faults this season, already past 110 in a year, still relatively young. For a top 5 player, that number is not just unusual, it is statistically jarring. When her serve clicks, it is a genuine weapon. But when the mechanics drift under pressure, she hands opponents exactly the kind of gift that cannot be returned unopened. In a stadium where 16,000 people will audibly react to every double fault, the question of how that serve holds up in critical moments is not a minor subplot. It might be the entire match. Now cross the net. Step into the shoes of a 20-year-old from Manila standing in the middle of a sold-out California stadium with thousands of her countrymen filling the stands with yellow, blue, and noise that makes the ground vibrate. Alexandra Eala's rise has been one of the most compelling storylines in women's tennis over the past 18 months. She trained at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, and the foundation of her game shows it: physically built, heavy topspin, relentless baseline construction. She has matured significantly in the past year, learning to construct points rather than simply swing and hope. She is a genuinely different player than she was 12 months ago. But before the game, you have to understand what she represents, because the Eala effect, and yes, that phrase is being used by tennis analysts and cultural commentators simultaneously right now, is essential to understanding why this stadium looks the way it does today. The Philippines is a nation of over 115 million people with enormous sporting passion and essentially no history of elite professional tennis success. Eala is not just a player to her country, she is a vessel carrying the collective sporting identity of an entire nation. The Filipino diaspora, spread across every continent, has mobilized around her in a way the tennis establishment was genuinely not prepared for. We saw it building in Miami last year. We saw it explode at the Australian Open, where fans overflowed from smaller courts just to watch her on monitors. We saw it in Dubai, where she sold out every single match. Her fans do not politely applaud good shots, they bring flags, they bring noise, they bring a frequency of energy that transforms a tennis venue into something closer to a festival. Put all of that into 16,000 seats and the acoustic experience alone is something neither player has ever navigated in this precise combination. Now here is where the narrative sharpens into something genuinely gripping, because 2 weeks ago in Dubai, these two players met in the quarterfinals. The tennis world anticipated a competitive clash. What actually happened was a complete dismantling. Gauff won 6-0, 6-2. She was not just better on the day, she was categorically, comprehensively, brutally better. She pounced on every short ball, dominated the second serve exchanges, covered the court so thoroughly that Eala started swinging for more than the shots could deliver. The 6-0 first set landed with a specific weight that lingers. That result is the gravitational center around which this entire match orbits today, and for Eala, today is explicitly a referendum, a chance to stand back up in front of the same opponent and say with her racket, "That was not me, and today I will show you exactly why." Whether that confidence is warranted depends enormously on one crucial contextual difference between Dubai and today: the court surface. Dubai plays fast. The ball stays low, moves quickly, and that environment systematically advantages players who can use pace to rush opponents before they load up their ground strokes. Gauff is built for fast courts. In Dubai, she was operating in her ideal environment while Eala was perpetually hitting off the back foot, never finding rhythm, never getting the ball to sit up into her swing. Indian Wells is structurally the opposite. The courts here are slow. The ball bounces high. Points extend. And that combination specifically and significantly favors players who generate heavy topspin, players whose weapons need time and space to deliver maximum damage. Alex Eala is precisely that kind of player. Her forehand, when functioning at its ceiling, can lift the ball above an opponent's comfortable strike zone, push them behind the baseline, and create positional disadvantage that opens the court for winners. On the fast Dubai surface, that weapon never had time to arm itself. Here, it has every opportunity to become the central tactical fact of the match. But, and this is where it gets fascinatingly complicated, simply hitting cross-court is not a viable plan. As a left-handed player, Eala's natural cross-court forehand targets the backhand side of any right-handed opponent. Basic geometry. Except Gauff's backhand is emphatically her best shot, consistent, penetrating, devastating under pressure. If Eala plays standard southpaw tennis all day, she is feeding directly into the strongest part of Gauff's game. The solution necessary, higher risk, tactically essential, is to go down the line, attacking Gauff's forehand with her own forehand over the higher part of the net, through a smaller margin of error. It requires conviction on every single attempt, and it requires executing that conviction when the match is tight and the crowd is deafening. It is lower percentage. It is also the only path through. Her physical condition adds another layer of uncertainty. Eala's second-round match against Diana Yastremska ran nearly 2 hours and 45 minutes, a brutal three-set battle that proved her stamina and fighting spirit but raises legitimate questions about recovery. Running point after point against the most relentless retriever on the WTA Tour, just 2 days later, with legs carrying the residue of a previous dogfight that is a genuine variable nobody can fully calculate in advance. The return of serve battle will be defining. On Gauff's first serve, a controlled blocking strategy makes sense. Get the ball back deep and start the rally rather than attempting a hero return that gifts an easy hold. But on Gauff's second serve, which has been the source of so much statistical turbulence this season, Eala cannot afford passivity. She must step inside the baseline, take the ball early, and attack with intent. Every second serve Eala lets Gauff escape with comfortably is a missed opportunity to plant the double fault conversation inside Gauff's head, and once that conversation is happening during the toss, it is very difficult to silence. Conversely, Gauff will look to immediately attack Eala's backhand corner off the return, preventing her from pivoting into that dangerous forehand. The objective is to make every point start from defensive recovery rather than offensive intent. The player who wins the battle of the first 3 shots in each rally will almost certainly win the match, because neither of these players surrenders deep in a rally once early confidence is established. And then there is the psychology, which in a match of this magnitude is not a secondary consideration, it is half the match. Imagine walking out of the tunnel as Alexandra Eala. The sound hits you before the light does. 16,000 people erupt simultaneously. Thousands of Philippine flags cascade from the upper tiers. You feel it in your sternum, in the back of your knees. And then you look across the net and see the person who beat you 6-0, 6-2 not 3 weeks ago, in front of the entire tennis world, and you have to find a way to play inside that tension without being consumed by either side of it. The only path is narrow: play the ball, not the occasion. Not the crowd, not the ghost of Dubai, not the weight of a nation's expectation, the yellow ball, this point, this moment. And she must hold that first service game at all costs. If Gauff breaks immediately and races to 3-0, the mental footage from Dubai begins playing on a loop that is nearly impossible to switch off. For Gauff, the trap is subtler but equally dangerous. When you have beaten someone 6-0, 6-2, some quiet part of your competitive brain files that opponent as manageable unconsciously, regardless of how disciplined your conscious preparation is. That assumption is poison. Different court, different crowd, different conditions, and an opponent who has spent every waking hour since Dubai studying what went wrong. Her coaching staff has almost certainly delivered one message above all others this week: be patient, play deep, use your athleticism to shrink the court, and let the 20-year-old make errors under the weight of the crowd rather than trying to force a repeat demolition that slower courts will not allow. The crowd dynamic adds a layer that is genuinely without precedent in Gauff's recent career. She has played in stadiums where the majority favored her opponent before. That is the nature of international tennis. But she has never played on home soil with American fans genuinely present and supportive, while the stadium has emotionally reorganized itself around the other player's journey. Eala has acknowledged graciously that Gauff deserves the crowd's respect. But 16,000 people will absolutely roar for every Eala winner, and the specific sound of a sold-out American stadium responding to a Gauff double fault with that kind of noise is something she has never had to perform through simultaneously on home soil. Zoom out for a moment, because something larger deserves to be named. This sellout did not happen because of marketing. It happened because women's tennis is in a genuinely golden era, not just of talent, but of global story. The fact that a 20-year-old from Manila, trained in Mallorca, is selling out a desert stadium in California against one of the most celebrated American athletes of her generation is the proof of concept for what professional tennis becomes when its talent pipeline reaches further and its footprint expands beyond traditional strongholds. That is a beautiful thing to witness regardless of which player you are supporting. Whatever happens in the next 2 hours will be written down not as a match result buried in tournament archives, but as a cultural touchstone. If Gauff wins convincingly again, she re-establishes the hierarchy and sends a message to the entire draw that her serve issues are a correctable footnote, not a structural flaw. If Eala wins, the draw cracks wide open, the tournament narrative shifts overnight, and the result stands as one of the most significant upsets of the 2026 season, not simply because of the ranking gap, but because of the comprehensive nature of what it would be overturning. Context is everything in sport, and the context here is extraordinary. The desert air is already electric. The mountains are watching. The flags are waving. 2 young women are about to walk out and discover something about themselves under the most pressurized conditions their sport can provide outside a Grand Slam final. Enjoy every single point. I will see you on the other side.